90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve a way of life they work so hard to establish. Today, our insurance agents work to protect all Virginians, not just farmers. We want to keep Virginia, Virginia. More information is at farmbureauadvantage.com.
The remarkable soybean. From its oil, we get products like ink, candles, and paint. From its meal, we get a high-protein fiber used in foods and animal feeds. Natural soy is replacing chemicals and products you use every day. You can learn more about soybeans at vasoybean.com.
Showing livestock is a popular hobby for people who live and work on farms in Virginia. Showing your finest steer, your best hog, or your top lamb or goat, that can be a lot of fun. This week we talk with members of the Virginia Holstein Association about exhibiting Holstein cows. We also have a story on crop progress in May, plus some tips on growing blueberries in your backyard. Those stories and more on this episode of Virginia Farming. I'm Jeff Ishii. The poultry industry is a key component of the agricultural economy in Virginia, and now there's a place people can learn more about the significance of chickens and turkeys in Virginia. It's located in Rockingham County. There is a new facility in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia that highlights the Virginia poultry industry. The building is located at the Rockingham County Fairgrounds just outside of Harrisonburg and was dedicated in 2014 as the Virginia Poultry Industry Center. The project was a joint effort of local businesses, the Fair Association, and various segments of the agriculture industry. The goal of the project was to highlight and demonstrate to the public the economic and historic significance of the Virginia poultry industry. That's according to Hobie Bowen, president of the Virginia Poultry Federation.
Well, I think that the Fair Board came up with this project and reached out to the poultry industry, and we thought it was just a great opportunity to showcase the history of our industry as well as educate people about the modern poultry industry.
Numerous displays throughout the building highlight the colorful history of the poultry industry. A Hall of Fame includes key people who played an important role in the industry. There are also dozens of historic artifacts, calendars, and educational exhibits. Most of the artifacts were donated, while others are on long-term loan.
You have a whole variety of people that come through here, and you've got folks that grew up in this area that look at some of the historical artifacts and features that we have here, and they're just, they love it. They love it. And then, I get a lot of good feedback on the educational, the kiosks, the information about the various aspects of the modern poultry industry. And one good thing about all this is that it helps to debunk some of the urban myths about our industry and teach people about how we've really embraced technology, and we produce poultry and process poultry in a very efficient and effective way.
The Virginia Poultry Industry Center includes a children's play area to help kids learn more about where their food comes from. Also of interest is a mock-up of a modern poultry house. People say they had no idea that such high technology is being used to raise chickens. Brian Carpenter is president of the Rockingham County Fair Association and explains how the project got started.
The initial thought process, we realized that poultry is such a vital part of agriculture here in Rockingham County. We're very diverse, having dairy, grain, beef farmers, but poultry's king here, and we wanted some type of display to educate our public here, the locals, how important the poultry industry is to Rockingham County. And I tell you, when we got involved with the poultry integrators and some local donors, it just kind of snowballed really quick, and what we have behind us it's a true tribute to the poultry farmers and the poultry industry here in the county.
He describes what people see while attending the Rockingham County Fair or at other times of the year when the facility is open by appointment for tour groups.
With this exhibit here, they can see what goes on in a modern poultry house, Jeff. They can come in, it's set up with equipment, with displays, videos of local poultry farmers so that they can see how much they care about the land. It's so much more than just what goes on in that house. The poultry farmer is a true steward of the land, and we're just thankful that we have a way to educate the public about that.
Officials say the Virginia Poultry Industry Center is a testament to the thousands of people who work in the industry, raising, processing, and marketing tens of millions of Virginia-raised chickens and turkeys every year. Poultry production is the leading segment of Virginia agriculture and employs more than 15,000 people across the state and has a direct economic impact of nearly $7 billion per year. Visitors are welcome to see the new facility during the annual Rockingham County Fair, which is August 14th through the 19th. Well, with most of the 2017 corn crop now in the ground, Virginia farmers are now turning their attention to other crops, including cotton, peanuts, and soybeans. Now, according to the most recent Planting Intentions report, Virginia farmers intend to plant 620,000 acres of soybeans this spring. That is up by 10,000 acres from last year. One of the reasons for the increase is strong global demand for soybeans. Members of more than 40 county farm bureaus in Virginia have donated nearly $50,000 to help fellow farmers affected by wildfires in Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and Colorado. Those fires swept through an estimated 1.5 million acres, killed 7 people, and destroyed homes, cattle, and livelihoods. Numerous fundraising events were held around Virginia this spring to help those in need. One group of farmers from Bedford County, Virginia, they drove a tractor-trailer load of fence post and barbed wire out to Kansas, where they spent several days building fence and helping cattlemen get their herds back together. Well, showing livestock, it can be a lot of fun and in many cases a lifelong hobby. That's our focus on Ag Insights. Coming up next. And we'd like to welcome to the program Lois Skeen. She is from beautiful, wonderful Mount Sidney, Virginia. And Lois, I have to say that because that's where I live. Right. We're Mount Sydneyans. But today we're talking about Holstein cows and the Virginia Holstein Association. Let's start with the association. This group of people, you're celebrating your 100th anniversary this year. Tell us about the organization.
Well, we are celebrating our 100th anniversary, and Holstein cattle came from Friesland in Holland in the 1880s, and the Virginia Holstein Association formed 100 years ago with a group of people who decided they wanted to make their cattle more valuable and upgrade their cattle to be more genetically productive. And there's lots of things that are involved with that. Two of the most popular things that we do are a show and a sale, and that gets people involved with registered Holsteins who you can trace their purebred ancestry back for generations.
Now, you talked a little bit about breeding and genetics and productivity. We ran across some statistics recently provided by the Dairy Herd Improvement Association. The Holstein cow is an amazingly productive animal when it comes to fluid milk production. In a matter of one generation, I believe, going from about 1,700 gallons of milk per cow per year in the 1980s, and now that number is somewhere around 3,400 gallons of milk. What does it take to make those cows so productive?
Well, it takes good genetics for one thing, and that's what our registered Holsteins are about, is using the best bulls, and with artificial insemination you can select the bulls that you want to be the fathers of the next generation. It takes good management. A dairyman has to be a nutritionist, a reproductive expert. He has to take very good care and TLC of his cows to get top production, to get them well grown, to get them fed right, to make them comfortable in their housing, and just to pay attention when they're in transition, like at calving or at weaning. It takes a lot of hands-on experience.
Tell us a little bit about your farming operation.
Well, our farming operation, personally, we have 8 acres and raise heifers. So I have a cow here that I have at a neighbor's farm, the Swope Jennings Gap Dairy. They keep my milking animals, and we just enjoy, when my daughters were young, they were in 4-H and in junior Holstein work, and we would come out and show, and I thought that was a very valuable experience because I had that experience growing up on a farm, and even though we only had 8 acres, it teaches the kids so much about responsibility and a good work ethic, and to get their hands dirty a little bit. So,
well, Lois, thank you on behalf of everyone, all of our viewers at home, for everything that you do for Virginia agriculture, and specifically with our Holstein Association. And coming up in just a moment, we're going to be talking about the spring show at the Rockingham County Fairgrounds. And now it's my pleasure to welcome to the program Heather Shen. She is from Fauquier County, Virginia, lives on a dairy farm, and I believe that you are very involved as the show chairman for the spring show of the Virginia Holstein Association. I want to talk about the show and what all goes into organizing a show, but first tell us about your farm.
Well, right now I live on a 60 cow dairy in Fauquier County. It's actually my boyfriend's farm. He started milking from scratch about 2 years ago. So 3 years ago actually now, he started milking about 20 cows, and now he's grown and tripled that up to about 60. And I actually grew up in New Jersey and moved down here about 4 or 5 years ago, and I brought all my cows with me.
Okay.
So all my cows from New Jersey are there now as well.
Well, you grew up on a dairy farm then?
I did not grow up on a dairy farm, but I grew up going to shows through 4-H and FFA with just the heifers like Lois was talking about. I had just my heifers, and I housed my cows somewhere else.
Well, Lois told us a little bit about the history of the Virginia Holstein Association. Now 100 years old the association is, and this spring show, we're not quite sure how old the spring show is, but it's a tradition here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. The best Holstein cows from all over the Commonwealth of Virginia generally come to Rockingham County, to the county fairgrounds, and show their best cattle. What all goes into organizing that?
Well, we start planning pretty much the day spring show ends, kind of wrap up, see what we can improve on next year, how everything went. The last few years, the attendance at the spring show has kind of struggled a bit, but last year with our 100th anniversary summer show, we had like a record over of 100 animals, which was really impressive in the last few years. So hopefully we think a little bit of momentum has kind of rolled into spring show, because we have actually 96 entered this spring, which is really impressive. But we send out entries, we have a planning meeting over the winter to kind of figure out who we want to judge, what we want them to do. This year we're incorporating a showmanship workshop tonight before the show, that way the judge can come in and talk to the kids about what she expects for tomorrow, how they should be prepared to show and fit their animals, and then they get a little bit of hands-on experience watching some of the older, more experienced showmen out there in the ring.
Now, of course, we're taping this in April. April, for those of you not familiar with dairy farming, April is a extremely busy time of the year.
Extremely busy,
you talk
yes.
about attendance, and I can expect that a lot of the reason you're planting crops, there's just a lot going on a dairy farm in the spring. Plus the factor that we have fewer dairy farms than we did maybe 10 or 15 years ago here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. What do you foresee for the future of the dairy industry? The kids who are coming up now, do you see any enthusiasm there about the future?
Oh yeah, definitely. They love it. They are great. Our youth association does a wonderful job of getting the kids involved, keeping them involved. I think tonight we're expecting over 20 or 30 kids at this showmanship workshop, so they're definitely doing their part to get the kids involved, and it's showing.
Well, again, thank you for everything that you do for the Virginia Holstein Association and for Virginia agriculture. Heather Shen, dairy farmer, thank you very much for everything you do.
Well, thank you.
We'll
for
be back
coming.
in just a moment. And now it's my pleasure to welcome to the program a young lady by the name of Hayley Daubert. She is from Rockingham County, Virginia. I believe you live in the community of Dayton, is that correct? How old are you, Hayley?
12.
12 years old. And how many of those 12 years have you been showing Holstein cows?
A lot of them.
Most of them,
Most
probably.
of them, yeah.
I suspect she was probably in the show ring in a baby carriage.
Yeah.
Your parents are very involved with agriculture and the dairy industry. Hayley, I want to talk about what you do to prepare those animals for the show ring, and then what the judge is looking for. But first of all, tell me more about yourself. I understand you're a member of the Virginia Dairy Maids program. What do you do with that?
We go around promoting the dairy industry, like by giving out stuff and like pamphlets and stuff that tell about the dairy industry, to try and teach like people that don't know anything about cows.
Yeah, they probably ask some pretty interesting questions, don't they? Like what? Of course, there's the old favorite of where does chocolate milk come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get that one.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about something that you truly enjoyed doing, and that is showing your cows. I believe here at the spring show at the Rockingham County Fairgrounds in 2017, you told me you're showing 5 cows this year. Tell me about each of those.
Well, I have one that was born in December, so she's 3 months old.
Okay.
And then my oldest is 5 years old. And then I have a couple in between that are a year or 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Now, you don't just unload them off the trailer and walk into the show ring.
No.
Step by step, walk me through that process. What are you doing to prepare those animals for the ring?
Well, we practice walking them like as if we were in a ring, even though we're like at home. We walk them around in a circle and practice showing them like we would in the ring. And then we feed them the appropriate feed to make them look their best. And we wash them and clip them to make them look nice and clean.
Now, there's a lot of work. You talk about washing and clipping a cow. There's a lot of skill to that. Now, what's the funnest part about showing cows, and specifically the Holstein cows?
I think the most fun part is just like having fun.
Yeah.
And just like competing against your friends.
Yeah, well, you probably know most of the people here. It's a very tight-knit community, the Virginia dairy community is. Now, what is the judge looking for? When you walk into the ring, what is that judge, what do they want to see?
Well, in showmanship, they want to see how well you can present the animal to the best of their and your ability. So you want to hold their head up so that their back is straight, and you want to have their feet set a certain way so that it doesn't make them look like stretched out.
This takes a lot of practice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you practice every day?
Not every day.
How many times a week, you think?
Once or twice a week.
Once or twice. And do you get together with friends sometime and practice with them?
Sometimes, yeah.
Really? Wow. Now, tell me about your future with Virginia agriculture. You're a young lady. Tell me what are your expectations? Do you want to grow up and continue to be working in agriculture?
Yeah.
Are you? What is it that you like about it?
Every day is a new day, and it comes with its different like challenges, but it's all fun. And in the end, you get some pretty good prizes if you work with them enough.
You're right. That is very well said. And dairy farmers, of all farmers, every day is different, because they're not only raising the animals and being a veterinarian for the animals, but you've got calves being born on the farm on a regular basis, so they work in the medical field, if you will. You're raising the crops to feed the animals. There's just a lot going on in the dairy industry, and every day, just like you said, is different. Thank you very much for talking with me, and best wishes in everything that you do. And I want to thank everyone who talked with us today at the spring show, the 2017 spring show of the Virginia Holstein Association here at the Rockingham County Fairgrounds in Harrisonburg, Virginia. We'll be back in just a moment. Summertime is just around the corner, and it's a time when many Virginia gardeners think about growing blueberries. Chris Mullins shows us how, from the ground up.
Well, hi, today we're going to be talking about blueberries. We're here at Virginia State University. We're here with Dr. Reza Rafi. He's a blueberry berry specialist. Reza, are blueberries a good crop for home growers?
I think so. Given that they are managed properly, I think it could be a really fascinating and interesting crop for homeowners.
I agree. What's one of the first things they should do if they're interested in maybe putting some blueberry plants out in their yard?
I think first thing to do is to research. Research the soil type that you have, and also the varieties, the type of variety that you want to plant. Those are extremely important in being able to grow quality plants for blueberries.
Now, you mentioned soil. If you get a soil test done, it'll tell you different things like the nutrient levels and the pH. Is all that important for blueberries?
Extremely important because blueberry is one of those crops that actually prefers low pH. The pH as low as 5 or below 5 is preferred. And we all know that unfortunately in Virginia we don't have that many areas that they have that pH.
What's one of the best ways to do that, to lower the pH?
Oh, the best way to do that is you can, 6 months before you start planting your blueberry, you can buy sulfur.
Okay.
Powder sulfur,
right.
And for every 100 square feet you can add 1 pound of that. That if you have sandy soil, that would be able to bring down 1 unit your pH. So if you have 1 pound in 100 square feet, would be able to bring it down to 5.
Okay.
The other thing that we usually do at with our research facility is we use a lot of pine bark to be able to maintain that lower low pH for the blueberries.
Okay, so just incorporate the pine bark into the soil.
Yes.
And
also,
even mulch with it.
Absolutely, but what's really important, because blueberry has a shallow root system, it's really important to lift it up. You don't want to, you want to grow it on raised bed.
Okay, raised bed.
Raised bed, and then you mix that raised bed with pine bark.
Okay.
That's the best way to do it, and it's just the best, you create the best condition for the root system to be able to thrive.
Okay. So you mentioned they're shallow rooted, so probably in terms of fertilization and watering throughout the growing season, they don't need a lot, I guess.
They do actually, on weekly basis, you probably need 2 inches of water.
2 inches of water a week, okay.
On weekly basis, to be able to grow blueberries,
okay.
And that's adequate. And then in terms of fertilizer, they are not heavy users, heavy feeders, we should say.
Okay.
And but they need fertilizer during the growing season. The most sensitive one is during the blooming. That's
time.
when the first time you start, make sure you start using fertilizer at the bloom time.
Okay, I see. Reza, what are a couple of the tips that would really help homeowners have good blueberries year after year?
I think the most important thing is for a young blueberry, a 1-year-old blueberry, when you plant them that first year, they bloom so much that they actually would not allow the plant to develop. So what you need to do that first year, you really need to get rid of all the blooms. Okay. That sets up the root system and the plant for a better future. I think the future to the development of the growth and so on. So it's really important to remove all the blooms during the first year. And then the other thing is pruning. Pruning is extremely important. What you need to do from the 3rd year, you need to go in there and remove all the dead wood area. Okay. Because the blueberry after the 2nd or 3rd year, the wood is not very productive. So you want to go in there and remove some of the wood, dead branches. And then you have lots of twigs in there that you want to go ahead and remove that. And pruning blueberry is extremely important in blueberry production.
So production-wise, if people can really do the research, look at the varieties they want, get that pH right in their soil, think about how many they want to plant and how they want to plant it, maybe on raised beds.
Right. Also, what's really important is, Chris, is to be able to use, there are 3 different types of blueberries. There's rabbit eye, northern highbush, and southern highbush.
Okay.
What you get at your local supermarket is usually highbush, a northern highbush type. But
Okay.
there are southern highbush, which is a cross between rabbit eye and northern highbush. They are tasty and very good quality. But the rabbit eye, they are easier to grow rabbit eye type blueberries, which within that rabbit eye type there are many varieties that one could grow.
I see.
But also easier to grow. They are not as sensitive to low pH as northern highbush. So that is, if you want to, you don't have the perfect condition to grow blueberry, you seriously want to consider rabbit eye type blueberries.
Well, that sounds great. I think these few tips here could help homeowners as they're thinking about planting, or if they already have some blueberries at their house. And for more information about blueberries or their production, please contact your local county extension office and talk to a master gardener. For From the Ground Up, I'm Chris Mullins, and we'll see you next time.
Our pearl of wisdom this week is from one of the most famous and influential Virginians of all time, Thomas Jefferson. He was not only the author of the Declaration of Independence, but he was also governor of Virginia, president of the United States, and indeed, he was a master gardener, fascinated by plants and everything associated with them. It was Thomas Jefferson who once said something that only a true gardening aficionado could understand. Though an old man, I am but a young gardener. So true, Mr. Jefferson. Submit your own pearl of wisdom through our website at virginiafarming.com. That does it for our show this week. Have a great week, everyone. I'm Jeff Ishii for Virginia Farming.
90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve a way of life they work so hard to establish. We want to keep Virginia, Virginia. Anyone can be a Farm Bureau member, and there's a local Farm Bureau in every county. More information is at vafarmbureau.org.
Virginia soybean farmers are hard at work growing soybeans to produce products you use every day. Candles, soaps, even crayons can be made from soybeans. Remember, when you buy soy, you're helping to support American jobs, the economy, and our nation's energy security.